Hakuna Matata. The Lion King is still at the Grand Theater until the 19th of November. Let's Chicle Chat about it.
Chicle!
Welcome to a special Chicle Chat episode. It's your boy Chicle, and today we're gonna do a review on The Lion King at the Grand Theater at GSR in Reno. Now, this is somebody that has watched the one at Minskoff Theater back in 2019 in New York City, and I have to say I was expecting the exact same thing, or at least expect something completely different from the Minskoff Theater one. I have to tell you a little bit about the experience at Minskoff first. I sat a little bit to the front of the left side of the Minskoff Theater, and the elephant was like coming through the aisle, and I was like, what? And it was like coming up onto the stage alongside with the giraffes and the antelope and all these characters. So it was really cool to see all these puppets come to life. And now over the weekend, my family and I went to Reno to see this show at the Grand Theater. There was a lot to say about this show. I want to just kind of first and recognize that Bailey and Carly, my sisters, they really love young Simba and young Nala, and they love all the puppeteers in general. My mom really liked Rafiki and also other characters in the show. And my dad was obsessed with the giraffes with the stilts. And I think he talked about the giraffe with the stilts more than the characters in the show. Well, he talked a little bit more about Rafiki, but he was mainly obsessed with the giraffes. But what did I think about this version of The Lion King on Broadway in Reno? Well, first subscribe, hit the bell, and let me know in the comments below if you saw this in Reno. Now, obviously, I'm not going to talk about the plot and the entire synopsis of it because we all should know what The Lion King is about. We've seen it over like 20 years now on Disney film and in movies and references and on the Broadway stage. So you probably know how the story goes. It's nothing too different, except instead of animation, they're using puppets, which is like the main focus of the storytelling. You have people dress up as zebra, lioness, giraffes. You have somebody in a big elephant costume. You have all these other characters just like making animals have characteristics, and it's just super cool. I have to say there was a lot going on that I can spend all day talking about with the puppeteering, and maybe more about the puppeteering that I would not understand, but I just have to say this was super cool to watch live in person. So guys, this is like once in a lifetime. If you are in Reno or somewhere near Reno, like Carson, Douglas, or Tahoe, or Sacramento, or whatever, you have to consider getting some tickets last second before they sell out, because Lion King is just that big of a show, and when it's touring, you can't ignore it. It is once of a lifetime. I want to also note that before I review some things about all the characters that are played in the show, there's no performance today when you're watching this video, so there's more performances from the 14th and the 19th. Be sure to get your tickets before they sell out. Now, I'm gonna try to pronounce these names as accurately as I possibly can. So Rafiki has been played by Mukilisiwe Gupa, who was born and raised in South Africa and has portrayed this who I would argue is the most difficult character to play, because you have a mix of great range of tone and you also have great comedic timing, and then the fact that you have to have some South African language and dialect on top of all that layered. And it's just really incredible how this was delivered throughout the entire story, and I like how Rafiki was interacting with Simba in the majority of the story. Mufasa played by Gerald Ramsey, and then I also want to just throw in Scar played by Peter Hargrave, the two lion brothers. You have Mufasa, who's the king, and then you have Scar, who is like the black sheep of the family. The reason why I'm mentioning these two, because not only they have conflicts with each other, but I want to talk about their headpieces. They're like magnetized when they draw forward in certain motions and certain timings to kind of show like their human characteristics and then their physical lion forms as they are about to combat each other, or at least have any sort of conflict in lion rage. Having a mixture of human characteristics and animal instincts within interactions with one another, and it's just incredible. More so with Mufasa, there was one scene when they were under the stars with Simba. He takes his head off because in a way, taking his lion head off is kind of weird at first. It's kind of like fourth wall, but at the same time, the lion head, in my perspective, is like taking the crown off because of all the weight on his shoulders, just so that he can have some relief to just kind of just have a moment with his son to talk about some serious stuff about life and everything. And I just thought that it was a great perspective or interpretation in my mind watching that scene, because we all know that they're not animals because they're just characters. And speaking of Simba, I think the one I saw had Mason Lawson, and I think this is his Broadway debut. So Mason, congratulations, man. You were amazing as Simba. It was really great. And then young Nala was performed, I believe when I saw it on Saturday night, I think it was Anya Simone, but let me know if I was incorrect, because I could be wrong, because it says at certain performances, it doesn't specify which ones. They were just so cute together, and I Just Want to Be King and most of Act 1, they were just incredible together. The hyenas, I thought they were super funny. Timon's been played by Nick Cordeline, and then you have John E. Brady as Pumbaa. I love how the actor is like dressed all green as if it was like green screen. Although you can argue that it was kind of like dressed up in green as if it was blending in with the jungle, with all the leaves and plant life and stuff. And that you can see the arm movements from Timon. And then you have Pumbaa with the big mouth in the front. And then like the mohawk is like part of the hair, even though it's part of the person. And then like he lifts his little back legs up when he bends down and stuff. So I really like their comedic timing. I thought their interactions were great, and you know, they're just iconic characters in The Lion King for a reason. Hakuna Matata. What else to say? It means no worries for the rest of your days. Next up, we have Simba, played by Darian Sanders. He has to go back to face his, past with what happened and trying to take over the kingdom and fight Scar for the rightful true ruler of being king and all that stuff. So yeah, you could tell that he had a lot of character development throughout Act 2, because that's where he mainly shines. And then I want to talk about Nala, because there are two different Nalas. The one I saw was Sydney Winters, but when you're going to watch it from the 14th and the 19th, it's going to be Khalifa White. So you're not going to see Sydney Winters. But I have to say, the chemistry between Darian Sanders, Simba, and Sydney Winters, Nala, in Can You Feel the Love Tonight was just incredible. So be prepared for some incredible stuff about to witness at the Grand Theater for this Lion King production. You have until the 19th of November, and if you haven't bought your tickets yet, do not sleep on this, because tickets will sell out quickly. There might be some sold out performances already. You do not want to miss a once of a lifetime experience watching something so extraordinary. It's a musical. It's a puppet show. It's its own show, pretty much. And I have some people asking me questions. Do I think that this show is as good as the Broadway version? I would argue yes. I think that it's just as good. I just saw it from a different view. I saw it a little bit more further back, but I love it that way because I didn't really get to see like a whole wide space of it because I was sitting at the front at the Minskoff Theater. But at the Grand Theater, the family and I were in the back, and we got to have a great view of all the characters and all the puppeteering from the ensemble playing giraffes and zebras and a rhinoceros and birds and this and that and those and them, and it was great. Well, that's all the time that we have for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back with our regular Chicle Chat episode this Friday, November 17th. You do not want to miss it. That's all the time we have. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out.
Right.